What's up, everybody? Matt Maran here for the final weekly update of 2022. And so it's been a crazy year of car news, and it's not going to stop here for the last one. The last one, even though there's less news stories this week, a little bit of a slower news week, still some very interesting stuff to cover here. So let's get right into it. So BMW, boy, what a year it's been for them. And not necessarily in a good way, even though it was their celebration of M. There's just so many, interesting designs that came out this year and interesting quotes from their executives and all kinds of stuff. But they're going out with a bang here. So, they've been doing a really good job the past 2 weeks in particular of annoying all of their Instagram followers. And so they staged a fake hack of their account to promote a new voice assistant that they'll be debuting at CES next week called D. It is called the D. It's I'm going to be professional and mature here, but of all the names, and no offense to anyone that's named D out there, but to say, hey, I need D to do something for me, or the D, it's just, I don't know, to me, just not the best choice of name there for a voice assistant. I'm appreciative of the fact that it's not BMW, so every time that us reviewers get in it and talk about the car, it doesn't automatically trigger. So they were smart to avoid, a brand name. But again, there are so many names in a baby name book, and that is the one they picked. Anyway, it's called D, and they posted a bunch of short clips promoting it here on their Instagram account. And so it's various clips of D interacting with people, including Arnold Schwarzenegger. And now they even have some with David Hasselhoff and Kit from Knight Rider that are talking about D and what D is all about. And there's also little video clips of D herself, I guess they're calling it a she, D herself kind of talking and saying, like, how do you drive this thing? And honestly, she sounds kind of annoying for the voice and the personality they're trying to bake in. It just, the whole thing just kind of comes off as cringy. And then the social media campaign, I counted 28 posts in the past 2 weeks for this D voice assistant thing. And I mean, judging by the comments, people were like intrigued and confused in the first few, and then it's just like everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. So in addition to BMW driving everyone away this year with all of their polarizing designs and being proud of it, by the way, according to their executives, they also are excited to be driving people away from their social media and annoying people that way too. I don't know. Maybe the person that runs the styling department also has been reassigned to run the social media accounts, or the whole company is just determined to just ruffle as many feathers as possible in every possible conceivable way. I don't know, but anyway, we will hear more about D and what her capabilities are next week. I mean, it's just a voice assistant. I'm not expecting anything crazy here, so that's why I don't know why they're spending, millions of dollars to promote this with all these big names and stuff. I guess they have some more generous marketing spend here for Q1 of 2023 or something. I don't know, but anyway, that's going to be coming from BMW next week, so stay tuned for that. I'll be covering that more next week. On the other end of the spectrum here, Volkswagen has announced that they'll partially reveal a new car at CES next week that'll be covered up in camouflage, but they didn't even reveal any teaser image at all. They just have a little press release announcement with no images, just being like, hey, yeah, we're going to be quietly debuting something at CES next week. And they also said that this new car will finally get a name, which makes everyone think that this is going to be the production version of the ID Aero sedan, which will eventually be replacing the Passat and the Arteon. That is probably the next one up anyway from Volkswagen. And it makes sense if they say it's going to have a name, because I think all the other stuff does have names as far as we know. So we'll be seeing that here with camouflage on, which is also annoying. Like, these like things in camo, whenever they're not actually like, spy mules, whenever they're like at a convention center where people can see them up close very clearly, camo doesn't really hide that much at that point. So I don't see the need for the camo, but hey, at least it's not a voice assistant named D. So whatever. We'll have more info on that Volkswagen on January 3rd. Ram is still planning to debut their electric Ram at CES next week here on January 5th to be exact for that one. I'll probably be doing a dedicated video on that one, so stay tuned for that. And I'll be covering all the details on that. And it's going to be supposedly called the Ram Revolution. But Ram has also confirmed that there will be a range extended version of it that'll be available as well with some type of engine. We don't have any details as far as how that will work. Maybe we'll get more details next week. We'll have to see. But CarBuzz this week has discovered what may be the name for this range extender version. They found a trademark application just last week for Ram 1500 Rev, which stands for probably range extender vehicle. So it also could be a shorter version of Ram Revolution if they didn't want to go with that for the electric one. They just call it the Ram Rev instead. So that's certainly on the table as well. That's just the name and they're dropping the whole Revolution thing. So we'll see, but I think the range extender thing makes more sense. And Mopar Insiders also agrees with CarBuzz that is most likely, what that name is for. So we'll have to see if that version also debuts at CES, if we're just going to get the electric one, how many details we're going to get about any of them. It's all kind of a big mystery still, but hopefully all those questions will be answered next week. So stay tuned for that. Another vehicle that's rumored to be going electric here and getting an electric version is the Land Rover Defender. So Auto Express is reporting that when the Defender gets a refresh in 2025, electric versions of the 90, 110, and 130 versions will be added. But supposedly in order to do this, those Defenders are actually going to be switching to the new MLA Flex architecture that the new Range Rover and Range Rover Sport are on, because I guess that has that electrified capability that the Defender doesn't. I guess they'll hack it up so that it fits the current body, because it sounds like they'll do some minor refresh stuff for the Defender, but it's not like it's going to be an all-new generation. So changing platforms mid-generation is a lot of work and a bold move. But it seems like that's something they're planning. I'm sure they want to have a competitor to the electric G-Wagon that's coming in 2024. And so, them coming out with this in 2025 or so, certainly, would make sense. And so, yeah, but I mean, don't expect the Defender styling to change much even for the electric version, considering, the styling seems to be really popular. Defenders seem to have a good bit of appeal. I think they did a really good job with it, and it seems to be selling pretty well. I see a decent amount of them even around my area here. And so, anyway, we'll have to wait and see about, how that all plays out for Land Rover. And again, this is just a rumor from Auto Express, so nothing confirmed yet. But, and supposedly, the last little thing about this rumor is they say the gas versions will still be sticking around. So, they're not forcing you into an electric Defender. It is just going to be another option that's available. And so, interesting to hear that. CarBuzz also had another trademark discovery this week. Noticing that earlier this month, Volvo has reapplied for the C60 trademark, which is a name they've actually reserved since 2015. So them reapplying for the name could either mean that they're still considering using it, and so they want to make sure they have it on lock, or it could also be that they are about, pretty close to using it on something. It could go either way, honestly, or they could never use the name at all and just, keep it in their collection for whatever reason. But if they do decide to do something with the C60 name here, the most likely thing is it'll follow the same pattern as the XC40 and the C40, where the C40 was just, a sportier coupe style version of the XC40. And it certainly makes sense, especially if they're going to be getting rid of like the V60 and, the wagons, for that sportier demographic, maybe you soften the blow a little bit by bringing in a C60, which is a sportier version of the XC60, but still higher off the ground. So it's an SUV, so it hopefully will sell better than the wagons did, sadly. But yet you have something for someone who doesn't just want the ordinary SUV version. And I guess we'll have to see how C40 sales compare to the XC40, but I'm guessing, if they're considering this, then it's something that probably makes sense for them, hopefully. So we'll have to wait and see, if they end up using it or not, but interesting to hear that. Another interesting thing here, California passed a law last week that bans car companies from advertising their vehicles as full self-driving if they do still require human intervention. And so while Tesla wasn't named in this law, I believe they are the only ones that claim to have a full self-driving technology in their cars that is nothing of the sort. So it's kind of funny. I'm really glad, though, that California, at least they finally put their feet down. I don't think that extends to, what the company claims in other states. So for the rest of the 49 other states, they'll continue to say it's full self-driving when it's not. But it's a start into finally, making Tesla be accountable for this, misleading stuff they've been doing for years and years. And so yes, great to hear that at least in California, it will not be called full self-driving anymore because they're legally going to be required to not say that. But it's crazy. I mean, just this, I think they said over Thanksgiving, there's like an 8-car pileup on the San Francisco Bay Bridge because a vehicle on autopilot slammed its brakes at highway speeds and, caused this massive wreck. Obviously, other driver assistance systems also have erroneous braking, instances and things like that. But it just seems like there's much more for Tesla, or at least they get publicized more. But anyway, glad to see that at least hopefully they will now in California not be able to mislead masses of people that aren't into cars into thinking this thing is actually full self-driving when it is not even close. And for the last news story here of 2022, it sounds like the Mitsubishi Mirage may be on its way out. Not a huge surprise considering it's a pretty dated vehicle and, they sell decently. I think they sell over 20,000 a year. But anyway, Mitsubishi's Japanese site just confirmed that Mirage production has already ended, but that sounds like that's just for the Japanese market. I think they're built in Thailand for all of them. So I think it's just the Japanese version that's discontinued right now, but you would think that if they can't even justify selling it in Japan, where there's an entire K car segment and there's, a lot of demand for small cars in Japan, if they don't even think the Mirage is worth keeping around there, then in a place like America where, half the country drives trucks that are large enough to fit a Mirage in the truck bed, it just seems like its days are probably numbered here in the States as well. There's different rumors as far as why that may be. It could be that they're pivoting more towards crossovers and getting rid of the small cheap stuff like everyone else. It also, there's rumors that they are going to be bringing in a new Mitsubishi Colt in other markets that will be using the Renault Clio platform actually. And so there's a chance that that's just going to come in to replace the Mirage, even though it will be a little bit bigger. So, it could go that way. We'll have to wait and see as far as, what ends up happening here. As far as U.S. and their stance, at least supposedly currently, Autoblog reached out to a U.S. Mitsubishi spokesperson who said that the Mirage remains an integral part of our U.S. lineup at this time. So that can't be if they actually are ending production completely, but I'm assuming, I guess they're just not actually ending production like the Japanese site says, at least not all the way. So kind of confusing. But, I don't think there's very many people on the fence about buying a Mirage. But if you are, get one before they're gone because, it sounds like they may be on their way out here. But it's interesting to hear that. And, we'll see. I mean, the only thing is they may still keep it around for the U.S. And honestly, it might be smart to keep it around for the entire world into 2023. If, all these talks of, financial, recessions and stuff end up happening, people could be more interested in something that's under $20,000 that's a little econobox, in many places around the world. If, money gets more tight for people, it could be something that's really the perfect car for, a recession time period. So we'll see, but maybe they'll get rid of it right before then. But it might be kind of unfortunate timing if they do. We'll see. But anyway, so that's all the news stories. But lastly, I want to give a huge thank you to all of you who are members of the Maran Motoring Club and all of you who joined here throughout the course of this year. I'm really thankful for all of you who, embraced this whenever I introduced it earlier this year and, have been along for the membership ride here. And hopefully you've enjoyed the member posts and the priority answering and the live streams and all that stuff here so far this year. And I did want to thank, we did have 3 new members join this week. So I'm going to give a huge thank you and shout out here to Daniel Meador, Eric Buzaglo, and also Photoshop Admin. All 3 of them joined this week. Thank you all so much for choosing to become members of the channel here. I really appreciate the support and hopefully you're all enjoying the perks so far. And stay tuned. I will be doing a live stream on New Year's Day where once again, all the members will be getting priority answering in that live stream. So definitely tune in for that if you can make it. And thank you all very much though for watching the weekly updates here this year. It's always just so mind-blowing to me to see how many of you make it part of your Friday routine or your weekend routine or just really enjoy the videos so much and leave comments telling me about that support because that really helps to keep me motivated with these because these videos are a lot of work and depending on the headline of the week some of them don't get great views, some do, but it really helps to know just how many of you really enjoy the weekly updates and it just it just always blows me away. So thank you all so much for, bothering to make me part of your Friday routine, your weekend routine with these videos. It's really an honor, and I'm, just so thankful I can deliver a, condensed news outline here for the week for you guys. It's very fun, and it's always it's fascinating to cover all this stuff here every year and every week. And so anyway, I just hope you all have a wonderful, happy new year here. And thank you all very much for watching once again. And I'll see you guys in 2023. Take care.